Double conquering Mega Eagle. Ooh, thanks. Okay. So today's little video is mostly about sorting out a few big jobs in the container workshop, and then getting distracted and doing a couple of little things and making some more jobs that I only managed to finish halfway through due to things breaking, things not drying, things you know, just general lifey things. But the most important things were getting the solar Mppt charge controller hooked up in place of the hybrid charger, which didn't really work too well with the solar, and my wind turbine has had more issues. Sorting the lights down here, so it's glorious and light, so I can actually probably use this space a little bit better than I have been doing. Alright, okay, chimney there, pumping out all the heat. Look, it's a perfect day. The sun has actually come out now. You can barely see it for all the moisture cooking off in the air, but it's definitely sunny. So we've got these two panels rigged up in series now, so they should be putting out 48 volts. I've got to deal with this bloody Japanese knotweed. There's the old wind turbine sat down there. I'm almost definitely not going to put that back up. Very disappointing performance. Here's the rest of that bloody knotweed. It's 2 years and it's made it to the top of the container. Fucking stuff. There's our old friend the dike. And glorious, crispy winter's morning Lincolnshire on the 31st of December. It's not foggy, it's just the sun's like literally come out in the last 5 minutes and it's just cooking everything off. Pretty cool. Nice. Let's get these panels hooked up, see if they work. Okay, so we definitely got power going in now. The cutout units were down at 24. I just connected the panels up. Can we see that? It's a little display of what's going on. The batteries 26.4, 50 volts coming off the panels. Okay, so yeah, that's the real beauty of the Mppt. I mean, they should only really put out, it's 48 volt nominal, I think they're 30 volt max. So what's happening is, even though it's not the brightest of sunny days and the sun's fairly low, it's still putting more than enough voltage in to charge my batteries up, which is cool. That's what we want. Let's hope it doesn't try and cook them or anything daft like that, eh?
We have yeah, the hate packs one is this one, which anyway, and then we have the quarantine stream you did, I want to mention because that's when everyone's sending things out, and then you're going to have to send international guards to sort things out, and if people don't stop breaking buildings, you know, assaulting random people as well.
Okay, so I've got the lights up on the ceiling. I don't know if you can see these. Can you see them, guys? Oh, there you go. There's a couple of lights there. It is pretty dim in here. So currently we've only got 2 lights worth, same lights. That's kind of enough to illuminate this end, but in total I'm putting up 8 of the little buggers. Yeah. So I'm just going to sort some wiring out now. Going to use these self-adhesive saddles, cable saddles. They got the sort of foam self-adhesive pads on them, yeah, so these should be alright. I don't know how much point there is in me trying to film this because you're not going to see much. It's still pretty gloomy in here. Oh, that's significantly better, folks, isn't it, hey? You actually see what we're doing in here now. Yeah, it's nice. Nice. Okay, so I've got to fart around with the angle of these things a little bit. There's a few shadows in places. I haven't tightened anything down yet, so it all still moves around. I'll just have a little play with that and get rid of the temporary lights that I'd stuck up at the end there. That's nice. Nice. Very nice. Still got a bit of the old strip up there. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I'm sure it'll be alright in nice short lengths, but in my eyes the whole point of this stuff is running a big long length, and if it can't do that, it's kind of pretty pointless. Anyway, I suppose I better have a tidy up and before we carry on with the electrics modifications in here. This is very nice place to be now with a fire going and the lights up there. This is all I had: the self-adhesive foam cable tie saddles, and it's worked quite nicely. It's just I don't really like having cable on display, but it's a container in it. Right. I've still got a load of cable ties to trim off, and I ran out of cable ties as well. So what next door is particularly messy going into the box, but there's a few other things that I need to wire in there. So there's no real point disturbing it at the minute anyway, until I've got all my wires up there. My actual Navy landing compass. I think this was actually meant for work whilst just sat on a ship, but because I stand in front of an aeroplane and do the compass swing, I had to pull it apart and switch the card round to read in the opposite direction. It's pretty cool. I have a little monopod for it somewhere. It's got a prismatic viewer here, so you can line up the centre line of whatever you're measuring. So if I stand in front of an aircraft, I get the spinner and tail fin, if it's a single engine aircraft that is, to line up with the sight, and at the same time you can peek through the prism, and it will give you the reading of the of the card. Medium landing compass. It says examined 28th of June 51, Admiralty Compass Observatory. Yeah, so normally these things, like just for a crappy one, will cost £500, or you know, and a decent one this sort of size with sights in it, like you know, you can pay a couple of grand. But this is I got I got it from a boot fair for a tenner or something like that. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. There we go. Put it back in its box and stick it in the electrics cupboard. I'm just wanting to put these old bits of plywood up so I can hang tools off them, or whatever else. I was going to put all my wire and stuff, just stick it on you know, bits of old broom handles sticking out the wall, so you know, so it doesn't take up cupboard space. So I'll get this old plywood up, but the thing is, right, whilst the rest of the container isn't at all insulated, we've got a little bit, a double skin on the roof, I suppose you'd call it. Not insulation, but it does serve to insulate a little bit. And I'm kind of doing the same with this, so you know, it's plywood. It like timber is a, you know, fairly decent U value for a solid, but you know, some people build houses entirely out of timber with very little insulation, isn't it? Whatever. So to get the best out of it, I'm just you know, making airtight compartments behind it, and I've got, you know, the old screws from the lights before, and a couple of odd tins of builder's foam. So we'll just, you know, anything I touch, I'll try and make it a slight improvement. But there's no point going mad on any one aspect of the insulation unless you're going to do it all. And I've really got no intention of insulating this space. Would be nice to cut down on the condensation though. I might buy some sort of foam rubber and just spray adhesive that all over inside both containers, and that would help a tremendous amount, I think. Stop the dripping anyway, stop the sweating, which is what I'm having problems with next door. It's not so bad in here, because I've got the double skin on the roof. Or I could deck the roof on the other side, on above the roof. Not make a watertight deck, but put some decking down that'd keep the sun and the wind off it, and I could sit up there and drink beer in the summer. I don't know, you know, which idea do you think's best? Funny how you get carried away with stuff, yeah? It was my intention to throw that board up so that I'd have somewhere to put my wires and stuff, so that I could sort that cabinet out properly, so that I could clear the leatherworking bench off. It's mostly electronic stuff that's on the leatherworking bench, you know, solder stations and whatnot, and then that could all go in the cupboards that have been emptied of the cable and wires and things. Then I started thinking about chainsaw corner. You know, chainsaw corner's going over here. I put some boards up. I don't know if I showed that on the video. And then realised I'd need some timber for the shelving for chainsaw corner. So so got a load of mouldy old timber out the garden, and that's been drying beside the wood burner. So now it's actually messier in here than it was when I started. There's more stuff in here than when I started, and the paint's not dry on the board, and it needs another coat. When it does dry, and the bench is still, you know, not really messy as it was. The bench has got a little bit tidier, but the number of beer bottles seems to be multiplying. Hey, so rather than doing the the 12-volt outlet and switch panel, I'm just going to throw up the shelving for Chainsaw Corner. Well, here we go then, folks. Chainsaw Corner isn't complete, but it's as complete as I can get it at the minute. So, you know, I'm not really a big fan of cantilever shelving, but you know, in a shed or whatever, it's nice to have a properly strutted. Well, I suppose they're columns, aren't they? 4 columns on each shelf, you know, so you can crawl up and down them, whatever. But, you know, this being Chainsaw Corner, it is Chainsaw Corner after all. I thought we'd do something a bit fancy, so, you know, I can appreciate my chainsaws a little bit more, because it is Chainsaw Corner. So we tried to put a bit of ornateness in, you know, bit of ornate bits up there as well. And I suppose the cantilever shelving is as important to support the top of the shelf as it is the bottom. So while those bits just look like they're for show, they're not there to stop the back end of the shelf lifting up, you know what I mean? But yeah, they seem solid at the minute. I do have to run a couple of battens down to go lengthwise on the shelf, front and back, but my bandsaw is broken, lads. The brake line cabin hook modification, patent pending, reproduction strictly by agreed prior permission. Doing the second coat of paint. Oh, don't like painting, especially not with a brush today. Not the most fun thing in the world, for me anyway. Some people love it, don't they? Anyways, I'm thinking all the things I want to do in here, and I probably have too many ideas, but really I need to sort the charging out, because I need to get another turbine hooked up, bigger one, because the aim of this place is to primarily be a storage area next door, and secondly as a supply of free energy for the underground bunker. Yeah, underground bunker workshop. There's an important differentiation there, isn't there? Hey? Something else I'm thinking of doing is getting rid of this getting rid of the stove, sticking it on eBay or something, and what you know, it's not like I really want much money for it or anything. Just to it's not the most practical of stoves in this shed, you know. Like the way the door swings open, it takes up even more space than its footprint. Well, I've got to get some flashing for the chimney anyway, because the rain hits the chimney and goes down into the stove, which runs down the side. And I put a bit of pipe in the roof for the chimney to run through. It's not coming. You see? Well, maybe you can't see. I don't know. Either way, it needs a bit of rubber flashing up there, and I'd quite like to sort of rebuild the half. You know, put a concrete slab on top of that little dwarf wall and a column on the corner, concrete slab, and then have the stove a bit higher up, and I could put the firewood underneath it. Then, you know, that's what I'm thinking anyway. Just a little idea. I probably won't ever do it, but yeah, everyone likes a nice gas bottle wood burner build, don't they? And this one, it's fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you though, it does get a little bit tedious having to wind it up, open and close. And I guess you know, if someone wants this in their man cave or something, then you know, that the annoyance of having to do that every time you want to put wood on it might not be a big issue for them, like, you know, because there is a significant wow factor to this, and it works beautifully. Right, it just isn't perhaps the most ergonomic feature. Look at that. Yeah, it's a bit silly. What I'd really like to do is get a load of brass on the next one. Do a gas bottle one again, but you know, just put loads of cast brass on it and have a ducting system so I can blow warm air throughout this little container. I think that'd be nicer, wouldn't it? Maybe get a duct running along that wall up there, and really get the hot air circulating. That'd dry it out a bit better in here as well, I think. All just little daydreaming ideas at the minute. So I hope you've enjoyed this little montage of odd jobs and whatnot in the container. What I know, I haven't finished all the jobs. There's two important things we got finished: the charge controller and the new lights. So that's good, and a couple of little odds and sods tidied up. Still haven't managed to get this workbench tidied, and the number of beer bottles is just like slowly increasing. But hopefully next time you see it, I'll have all my cable and stuff hung up on that wall, and that'll be painted white with some chainsaws on it. Yeah, cool. All right, take it easy, folks, and I'll catch you all again soon. Bye bye.